want to go to sleep, but you can probably guess. I had some other stuff to do, but I guess I can hold them off for tomorrow instead. Mom asked me to do a tarot reading for her. That was pretty fun. I got to use the tarot cards again. I'd say it was good quality bonding time. Anyway, I'll play for however long it takes for the guys on the other side. The neighborhood to fucking shut the fuck up. With their cringe ass DNB and trap music. Hardcore. Filipino hardcore kinda sucks. NGL. I'm getting kinda sick of this game. I was kinda getting sick of Etrian Odyssey as well, but that more had to do with other stuff. Namely the fact that I had other games I wanted to play. I mean, I guess I'm technically facing that as well, but it's also just the fact that this game's gotten kinda boring. So this is being recorded the same day I finished the Archon quest. I'm gonna talk about it. Specifically, the fact that I did Hudina's story quest immediately after I stopped that recording, and I kinda regret it. I kinda wish I recorded it because I had some pretty funny reactions. The French singing at the end was pretty cool. Reminded me of the thingy that happened in Yunjin in that one limited time event. It was basically 2 hours of Furina going on therapy, lol. Oh, and who could forget the fact that she can never forget the gays?
Since its beginning, Minecraft has and will undoubtedly continue to be a blog game. There is a large variety of blogs with new ones being added to the game in nearly every single update. Hundreds upon hundreds of blogs make up the world, and more await the player in the creative inventory. The majority of Minecraft's blogs and items can be found in the creative inventory, and usually these will suit the player's needs. However, players more experienced and those who have played the game for a significant period of time will be familiar with most.
Something this game is severely lacking that I think any good dungeon crawler should have is moving entities within the dungeon that you have to pay attention to. I think that's part of the reason why I enjoyed Etrian Odyssey and Mary Skelter so much. Mary Skelter had the nightmares. It was always very thrilling to run away from those guys. Like, wow, talk about enthralling. Never would have thought they could make what is essentially a power fantasy fan service game super scary. And it did become more of an annoyance rather than an actual frightful encounter. But the initial fright is one I'll always remember fondly for that game. And yeah, it made navigating the dungeons and Etrian Odyssey, along with the fact that you drew the map yourself there, very enthralling. Learning the behaviors or just going through a walkthrough here might be.
All this fuss over me.
It's really boring. Everyone is just weak to Holy. Gee, I wonder if this guy's weak to Holy and maybe Fire as well.
This mysterious ghost book.
This one's mine.
Wow, they all
What's up there right now may not look like much, or anything at all.
they're not
Top of
with
this
black
pedestal
names,
is
but they
perhaps
should be with the
Minecraft's
whole
most unknown block ever. The moving piston. Now you may be thinking, what? This dude's pulling my leg. He's making this up. There's nothing there. Well, I would think so too, but this secret block has many special and interesting features that
My
prove its
turn.
existence.
My thanks, dear friend.
Thank you.
For instance, check out this water. It stinks though, right? Not blood. But wait,
Run in
there's
battles,
barriers around it.
brains win
Well,
wars.
There is a barrier, but that barrier isn't the barrier block. Because watch, I can just run through it. The water isn't flowing, but there's nothing here to block it. Or is there? Now, look at this pedestal again, this obsidian one, blast proof. And watch what happens as I right click on this area with a block. Okay, because I don't have keystrokes on, I'm like doing it like this with voice because
You might
I
think
think it'd be really suspicious.
this is all my fault
It's
and that
not right-clicking.
the game's
So,
boring now
after
because
you
I
unlock
grinded the
glass on
hell
screen,
out of
yeah,
it.
you can say it's not
And I don't think that
Try for
way.
yourself. I don't-
The fact that the game is so easy now is technically my reward for going through all that pain and suffering I did
right-clicking.
early on.
Yeah, left-clicking.
You know, so I don't mind it. I don't see it as a problem. I don't think it was a mistake that I grinded.
Left-clicking.
And I don't see this as a punishment, but rather as a reward, because that's most likely how how the developers intend
Nothing happens.
you to feel
If
if you decide to do something like that. That's the point of leveling up in an RPG, or in any game that has
Of all the
leveling up.
realms we encountered, this one disturbs me the most. I can't imagine living in a realm surrounded by so much darkness.
Unless you're Iya, apparently. She's an edgelord.
Still like place.
Better keep my guard up.
But I kinda wish I have the ability to just straight up disable encounters. You could technically play the game without ever encountering any enemies apart from the ones you absolutely have to. It might be a fun challenge, potentially. Let's see if Holy Crusaders passive auto-proc. If not, I'll blast them with exorcism either way.
Also has a
Dang.
sound. Guess what it sounds like? Does it sound like redstone? Piston movement? Real what it sounds like. Yeah, like piston extension. No. It sounds like stone. I guess Mojang chose stone because it's pretty much the most basic sound of the game. But yes, the moving piston makes a stone noise. How can we prove it, you may ask? Using the set block command with a destroy function associated with it. You may want to turn your audio from the sound parts coming out, but I'll try to make them as easy as possible here. Using the set block command, a block doesn't actually make a sound when it's placed, that's important to know. However, there is a feature set block the block being replaced by the set block when the block that is being set by the set block command. I hope that makes any sense. The block being replaced actually breaks, instead of just snap being replaced or something similar.
That was a lot of damage.
Also, just a fun fact, Minecraft Wikipedia, the moving piston is said to have stone noise not only for construction, but for footsteps. I find it really funny, because I literally have no idea how I'm supposed to walk on a block, but I can't interact with it physically. How am I supposed to make footsteps on it if I can't walk on it and get with the benches? I think that's work.
My hand, powers of the heavens,
attention, darling.
The coolest ability of Piston is its interaction with Minecraft mobs. Minecraft mobs can actually see through it.
My thanks, dear friends.
Through it, or they can't pathfind through moving pistons.
The real
Making
problem I have and why I
hilarious
think the
scenarios
game's been
possible.
getting boring is
Like
that
this one. While a villager is
the
scared
combat
of the
is
zombie,
kind of
the zombie
repetitive.
can't actually walk through what seems like
If
open
all you
air.
have are
I find
random
this so fun.
encounters,
Actually, you say it like working
your
Minecraft.
your fight,
This tidbit of
your
information
combat
is
has
also
to be
from
good.
Minecraft Wiki. And for those interested in the details,
and
I've
there's
put
just
a
not
link
enough
below in the description.
variety
Here's just another fun demonstration
and enemies
of me
here.
taunting these
You might
mobs.
think that's impossible to make for turn-based, but au contraire. I mean, you need only look at Etrian Odyssey. That game was riddled with all sorts of fun challenges and enemies. In the first dungeon, which is the forest dungeon, you're still starting out, so you have to get a grasp on
So, now we
elemental
get to the
stuffs,
interesting portion of
and there's a few enemies that can inflict some of the
why does it
status elements on you.
The moving piston represents what it is, what it says it is. A moving piston.
The mother's strength
It's
flows
all about
through
learning
me.
in there. The second raises up the difficulty,
So,
just in
watch
case.
when I
It always
connect
happens
piston
anytime you
with one
reach a
space,
new
it
stratum.
extends, like it should, nothing special.
Just
From a
when you think
technical
you're finally getting
standpoint,
used to
from a
things and
game
you
designer
become
standpoint,
way too overpowered, the
it's
next
not
stratum
just
shows
about
up
getting
with a large
used to
difficulty
information.
spike and introduces a whole bunch of new combat scenarios. Enemies kind of work together in the second stratum with how they do. You have characters that can there are monsters that give buffs to enemies there now and stuff, you know.
Distance extended to a certain extent. It's like taking up this much blood.
And in this game, it kind of feels like
Thus, the height
by the second stratum, you've already seen everything enemies can do, and
trench.
it's
Just think about
just
it.
the same sounding dance from there on out.
It's not occupying, but it's in the middle. Where is it? Is it in this block? Or is it the one it's about to take out? When it's retracting, is it in its virtual location? Or is it back in front of the piston? Where is it? How does the game store a block that is in between two other blocks? That doesn't make any sense. And that's what the moving piston is for. The moving piston is labeled as a
To ultimize my turn.
yes! Similar blocks in the chest or an end gateway, for example, which both store more information about themselves. The chest stores its contents or its locker room, and the end gateway stores on its teleport location and if to show the beamer, it's a portal to shelter. Look into the moving
This one's mine.
see what it
Oh, thanks for the attention, darling.
block and the piston head. So after the animation is finished, the block of the piston is overwritten with either air,
Let me help. But
Oh, 1,444
Thank you for
from a
your
normal
consideration.
skill.
Violence is never the answer,
Enhanced?
only the means to it.
That's amazing.
I'm not a technical Minecraft player, and definitely not to that extent. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. It may be a bit off, but that's really
And
all I
also,
can
this
do with
fucking
this
dungeon
then.
just
It's a
fucking
very
sucks.
interesting blog and one fun to explore, especially those interested in the inner workings of
It's in an
Minecraft.
open area,
It's extremely
so
fun to consider the potential of moving
to
piston.
prevent you from just being able to see everything at once that you can go to,
Builders,
they just made the lighting really, really shitty.
Gravity without use of barriers. And event hosts and map makers can use it to limit where the players can place
In
blocks.
terms of dungeon exploration, you need to give people a reason to look at their main screen. Etrian Odyssey first starts that off by making there be tells for hidden areas, but soon enough there's just all sorts of, rather than making it helpful, they make it necessary. As in, like, rather than being helpful, it's what's the word for it? Basically, first you look at the main screen for helpful things, but soon enough, obviously, as the game is supposed to get harder, rather than showing you helpful things,
The mother's
you're using the
strength
screen
flows
to
through me.
see bad things you'd rather avoid. Movement tiles. that take you places, and then you have to put an arrow in the second thingy. In the last dungeon, there's the stupid rooms where you can't see where you are, and you can't map it out automatically. And then in the ancient ruins dungeon thingy, there's the gimmick with the gates and the buttons. All very engaging mechanics for dungeon exploration. Along with the fact that due to the fact that you have to draw the map yourself, obviously you have to pay attention to the main map by default, which this game does not do. Mary Skelter also doesn't have that much of an engaging dungeon exploration. But its monotony is what works in its favor. February 4, 2024, oh god. This thing's gonna expire soon. There's obviously the fact that you always have to be on the lookout for potentially running into the nightmare, which obviously that's like the last thing you want to encounter. And there are the whole through characters based puzzles, like sometimes you need to throw a bread portal and stuff, and drawing out the map is a reward. There's the auto movement thing, which this game lacks. It's probably a very hard algorithm to program in. It's a feat of ingenuity and all that jazz.
Since our area is mostly near the elevation, it was most about copper maxes out 8, and then iron 16. Zero was
why are there fire tiles here?
And then diamonds and redstone just keep increasing as real ores are not entirely dependent on depth. Let's go over to the big ball horizon.
Oh, my throat is still very sore.
What's that?
Away from recording and editing, so it will come and go in some shots. Earth started out as an homogeneous ball. All elements equally distributed throughout the planet. Over time, heavier elements like iron and nickel were pulled more by gravity and sank to form water. The lighter elements floated to the surface to form the crust that we live in. Present day,
I think that wall looks a little
they have a
odd.
solid iron inner core,
A little
liquid
sus, per chance,
and a thick
maybe.
mantle. It's always shown as this
You
orange
could
color
say.
diagrams, and that's right and wrong. Like we discussed in the How Hot is Lava episode, the mantle is hot enough to glow, so it is emitting an orange light. But if you cooled it down, its color would actually be green. We know this because certain volcanoes bring up parts of the
How is the inside brighter than the outside?
green crystals.
That
are
makes
actually-
no goddamn sense.
and it makes up 84% of the Earth. So this is actually
That
what
is
most
good.
of the Earth is. The crust on our layer is steel, by the way, but the rest is pretty close. The actual continental crust would be about 1/3 of a block, and the oceanic crust would only be about 0.05 of a block. The deepest drilling project in history only ever got about 1/3 of the way through the crust. So when we're talking about wars, we're
This
still
game-
only really dealing with very
The only
little
reason
area.
I'm filling the map is because of my OCD.
Into wars. The
As
crust
in Mary
is
Skelter, it was a
active
necessity,
thermal
as well as in
magnetic.
Champion Odyssey.
These take a geologically long
A necessity and a
because
rewarding
they're
experience to do.
created. Some wars were only made in a specific time in its
Because in
history.
terms of Mary Skelter, you get to do auto mapping, so
Let's go look at the bones.
doing your back and forth trips back to the base and all that jazz
Material we don't want that's mixed around
becomes simpler.
It's called GA. GA
And for Atrian Odyssey, well, for pretty much the exact same reason.
Just the rest
Although
is
there
GAs.
is, because
In real life, you separate
now you have a
the
map,
from the
you can
GA,
see
and
now
all
where
the
you need to do
material
things better.
tailings. So technically we should get back some cobble or gravel or something like that along with wood. And I know we are limited to 1 meter blocks in Minecraft, but another little nitpick or just something to think about is that we can take ore and make a raw block, and then we can refine that same ore and make a block from it that is the exact same volume. In real life, you lose volume during the refining process. That's the point. You're removing things that you don't want from the material. So maybe that means that these blocks aren't necessarily similar. For the Minecraft ores, I thought it would be interesting to see how the amount in our hole here compares to what the entire Earth produced last year. I'll be getting most of my data from the 2023 Mineral Commodity Summary published by the United States Geological Survey. On the Minecraft side, I'm going to calculate everything as if the ore was mined with Fortune 3. I'm assuming that Fortune isn't magically multiplying the amount of material in the ore, but it's just making us better at extracting it. That kind of breaks down with Lapis, where even without Fortune, you can get 9 Lapis Lazuli. Then you can make a block that's the same size as the ore. With Fortune 3, you can get a max of 36 and make 4 blocks. So, just another reason maybe to think resource blocks aren't actually completely solid. In order to convert real-life volumes into Minecraft volumes, I have to make the assumption that the blocks are of solid material, though. There are a few other oddities with Lapis in the game as well. For the rest of the ores, we are wanting to get a specific mineral or
purge the darkness from their souls.
Lapis lazuli is actually a rock. It gets its blue color from the mineral lazurite. Lapis lazuli usually has calcite and pyrite as well. I have a sample here that doesn't have any pyrite in it, but you can still see the blue lazurite and the white
Harp
calcite.
of harmony, calm their restless souls.
This one's mine.
Seems like we're mining lazurite. Here we have 1,394, which produces almost 2,209 lapis blocks. I'm just going to be rounding to the nearest block when I say most of these. And lapis is the only ore that I don't have good earth numbers for how much we mined last year. I imagine that it's not much, since besides being pretty, there isn't an economic use for it. Historically, it was ground up as a dye, but I'll talk more about that in its own episode. It's not a good source of dye in the game since you get so much of it from the ore, and the enchanting table has lost some of its use with village trading as being so easy.
Silence is never the answer,
There isn't
only
a
the
real
means
magical
to
rock
it.
like redstone, but I wanted to include it here just for completeness. There are some real-life minerals that look very similar to it, and most of them contain some pretty nasty elements. Vanadinite here is a lead mineral with vanadium in it.
Why are you touching it? You
And
just said
red
dirt
and
and...
orange minerals in the samples are realgar and oppermint. Both of them are arsenic sulfides. And
Well,
last one might be
he's
my
a
favorite,
professional.
especially
I'll
with the base
trust
that's
him
darker
with
mineral,
his life.
which makes it look like deep slate redstone.
Something's
The red
off
is
about that.
silver,
Something's
a
off
mercury
about that
sulfide,
wall.
And the dark mineral
Oh my
is
god, why are there
stibnite,
just so many
antimony
hidden
sulfide. All of them
wall
are toxic. I'll wash
stuffs?
my hands. I'll probably do a speculation episode at some point in the future on redstone. For here, our excavation
Come back
produced 1,139 blocks. Alright, let's talk about this really. Most people think about an old prospector painting for gold in a stream, but those types of deposits, called placer deposits, are usually just gold being washed downstream by erosion. The real gold ore is some rock upstream. On the industrial level, we mine ores that have very little gold in them.
What's
They
that?
usually contain other important elements as well, which make it worth it. Even high-grade gold ore only contains
A
about
dark
8 to
blue.
10
Ooh.
grams of gold per ton of rock. This piece here is a core taken from a gold mine in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It only has about 0.15 grams per ton of gold, but it also contains a few percent of nickel, copper, and then small amounts of silver, cobalt, platinum, and palladium as well. The combination of all those metals makes it worth processing. We got 1,367 ore from our excavation, which would produce 334 cubic meters of gold. By comparison, last year the Earth mined 3,100 metric tons
Lucky.
of gold. Solid gold weighs 19.3 tons per cubic meter, so that's about 161
We all
cubic
die
meters
now.
of gold total for the whole Earth. It's wild to think that this hole almost produced twice that. Just had a video idea. It'd be cool to have an episode looking at the elemental composition of Earth's crust compared to Minecraft.
Minecraft world is just way bigger.
Always this combination of this chocolate.
Forget its shape, it's just big.
Like, you find nuggets of it, and it was
Round or
common in
otherwise.
Michigan, and I have a few pieces from there. Copper is one of the few metals that you can find in its raw form like this. And even this bigger one is small for some of the pieces that have been found up there. Copper was the second most abundant ore in our excavation, and since it produces 7.7 ingots per ore, it produced 6,046 blocks.
Powers of the heavens.
This display is about the maximum number of
My
gravity.
thanks, dear friend.
It doesn't magically double or quadruple the amount of damage a single ore
I've been
can
nice to
give.
have
It's
more
just
uses for copper in the game, but
making
it's
the
abundance
pickaxe
is bigger
way
because
better.
copper and quartz are really the
like
only two
mining
ores
things
that you're meant
properly
to be
without
using their resource blocks as
accidentally
building blocks.
crushing
You know, I guess anything
the
can be
valuable
used
parts
to build a block in Minecraft, but
the
nobody's
block.
expecting survival players to build houses with
And of
diamond
course, Silk
blocks.
Touch takes
In real
that
life,
step
it's
further,
commonly
I
mined with
suppose,
gold. Copper
by just
concentrations that
making
make
it
up
so
a few
it
percent of the block.
precisely
Last year,
cuts off
we
the
produced
block.
22 million metric tons of copper.
This
from mining,
doesn't take a
which is
genius to
almost
notice.
2.5 million blocks of copper. A cube would almost be 136 blocks on a side.
You
And
don't
that's
have
far
to be
too
so
big.
condescending about it, Joshua.
So instead, I'm going to use my old standby, the display entity.
I found references in an old novel about Sir Xavier Frost. He was one of the first humans to become an anointed knight, thousands of years ago.
Like some of
That
the skill
edgelord.
is lost when doing this. So let's do it another way too. Bring this one back
Unbelievable.
down. Our excavation over here is 128 by 128 blocks.
Oh my god, this place is big.
Last year, Earth's copper production would basically fill this entire hole, down from negative 58 up to Y100. Remember that this is the actual metal amount, not the volume of ore mined either. That volume would be at least 100 times larger than this. Continuing on with diamonds, they're the hardest known mineral. They're pretty little pieces of carbon that are not that rare, but are very useful for many applications. Who wants a dumb clear mineral when there are so many more interesting colors in natural stones?
Oh, hello, Graves. Pleased to meet you.
Just so you know, Lady Tanya acts friendlier than usual when she gets nervous.
I am not nervous. Just, being polite to the residents here.
The other day, Tanya tried asking a machine in Atlas Prime when its birthday was while it tried to cut me in half.
What?
I still think robots have birthdays, even if they're not really, born.
Would their birthday be when they're conceptualized or when they're finished? And if it's when they're finished, when is a mechanical product finished? Because even after all the parts have been pieced together by the factory or the workers working on them, they still go through some tests. Maybe they're born when they get put on store shelves. What about if when they're bought? It's all iffy. Legal-wise, obviously, objects don't have birth dates. Their individual parts can be analyzed to tell how old they all are, but no one celebrates birthdays for machines or objects and stuff. I guess I'll head down here.
Minerals in the freezer. The gem quality mineral is what jewelry companies try to push on you, but the much more common and more useful industrial grade diamonds are used for abrasives and a lot of other things. I have an old engraver that I use that has a natural diamond in it. It's cheaper to make diamonds now, but natural ones are found in deposits called kimberlite pipes. These are old magma conduits that brought up a lot of odd minerals from Earth's mantle. I have some kimberlite here, but this sample doesn't have diamonds in it. As a byproduct of gem quality mining, we recovered 46 million carats of industrial diamonds last year. This might seem like a lot, but a carat equals 0.2 grams, which converts to about 2.6 blocks. Our excavation, on the other hand, add 834 ore blocks, which, when mined, would be about 204 diamond blocks, or about 75 Earth's production. I just thought it was quick to figure out where it's a since a diamond block weighs 3,510 kilograms, and a diamond is 1/9 of that block, and 1 carat is 0.0002 kilograms. Divide the weight of the block by the number of diamonds it takes, divided by 0, divided by 0.0002, and we get 1,950,000 carats for 1 Minecraft diamond. And for comparison, the Hope Diamond is 45.12 carats, and the world's largest raw diamond ever found was only 3,106 carats.
Brawn wins battles, brains win
One
wars.
of the rarest gems. And this is one of the cases where the mineral and the gem have different names, and there are several gem quality versions with different names depending on the color. Emeralds are the green gem quality version of the mineral beryl.
What the?
The blue gem of beryl is called aquamarine. I have some here, and you can see the
Oh.
natural hexagonal shape
Hi.
of crystal growth.
I mean,
While the gems are rare, the mineral
You
beryl
okay, Lady
is
Tanya?
not.
Are their
Some of
ears-
these crystals are
Do their
beryls.
ears have
This one is
faces?
pretty
What
big
the
and
fuck?
not a gem.
you know what?
But you can still see
No.
the hexagon.
I'm not okay. I'm terrified. Listen up, statues. I'm going to absorb one of your souls and take it to another world. Your friends are going to scream out to you for eternity, but trust me, you're never coming back.
My studies have prepared me for this.
I think we just depend and rely on our Storm Seeker friend.
Thank you.
What are they doing? Are they idiots?
Purge the darkness from their souls.
This one's mine.
Lady Tanya, that was quite the speech you gave back there.
I try to be nice to my enemies, not make them feel bad before I roast them alive or seal away their magic. But I'm always honest with you, Zandy, because I care about you. So maybe that's the nicest thing I can do now. Be honest with those I'm about to blast into another dimension.
How compassionate of you. Thank you for coming with us, Traveler. I hope we can fight together again soon.
You're so wholesome. Don't believe what historians tell you when they say they're just really good friends. They're definitely fucking. Ooh, I can do +4 now. Oh, they fucking. Here we go.
Better keep my guard up.
I almost missed this.
Shape on the one end. And while maybe not the prettiest, it's one of my favorite samples. And I don't have information on how much beryl or emeralds we mined on Earth last year. but I do know that we mined about 280 tons of beryllium. And beryl is a primary source of that metal, which has many applications in science, alloys, and the nuclear field. Since we know the mineral formula for beryl, we know each element's abundance.
May has always had a thing for the bleak, dreary, and half-dead. Wait, is that why she likes talking with me? Anyway, she's hanging out with Seraphine talking about crypts and bat blood in the library. Head there if you want to help her out. Jenica came in here with a chart of different moon phases. I'm not really into the night sky, stars, and all that stuff.
As expected of a barbaric brute such as yourself.
They're all just small specks, too far away to be known.
On the contrary,
like an idea
they're very
you could
big.
feel, but never quite understand. Sorry. Anyway, she's mounting an expedition to gaze at the moon, or maybe an absence of it. You can find her at the Red Horse, getting ready.
Hey there, traveler. Tonight is going to be beautiful in the dark expanse. See, it's a new moon, meaning there won't be any light whatsoever. Meaning things that normally don't come out to play probably will. Okay, beautiful was maybe the wrong word to describe the new moon. You can come with me to see if terrifying is a bit more accurate.
Why?
All adventurers.
I guess it's safe to sell everything here. Or actually, not yet.
Hello, traveler. I just convinced Lady Seraphine to help me conduct some research in the Dark Expanse. I want to see how different magics affect a host of enemies down there.
If you'd like to help, just head down to the 14th station, and we'll talk you through all of the tests.
If you do holy magic, they'll die pretty much immediately. Otherwise, everything else kinda just is mid at best. I say don't even bother. Fine, since I get rewards. Attack and crit damage. Interesting. Ooh. Ooh. Cringe. And they're all really expensive. I don't really need them though. Anyway, so... I suppose I'm just window shopping. That's useful. I don't think the skill tree helps either. At least for Etrian Odyssey 3. I'm not too sure with 2 and 1, but there really isn't that much changes and unique things you can get from doing them. They really are just raw increases in damage and stuff. Which is, you know, super boring. In contrast to 3, the skill tree there has a lot of planning and all sorts of good stuff you can do. 2 and 1, if I remember, suffers pretty much from how the skill tree in this game works as well. You get the healing, and then if you level it up enough, you can do the major healing. And then if you level up the major healing enough, you can do the super healing. Which, you know, that's just fucking boring, and all it does is making getting new skills way more arbitrarily difficult than it needs to be. Which, you know, the modded skill tree for Etrian Odyssey 3 fixes, but I argue it was already good as is, albeit a bit unbalanced. Oh, just a little. Just a teensy wee bit. And not much health left again, huh? Let's max these out, may as well. We'll end things there.